Hello guys. Now I found out most students usually have problems with drawing half circles in isometric. In other words, half isometric circles, such as this one. Not just that, especially when the circle is placed at the edge, not at the center or the middle of the drawing. When it is placed at the edge, it becomes a little bit more difficult for students to draw. But the truth of the matter is, this is very, very easy. And there is no problem at all. So what I'm going to do is to show you how to go about this step by step. I'm going to show you how to go about this. However, if you are new to this channel, you might want to go see Introduction to Isometric, because there are some things I explained there in detail that I'm not going to dwell on that much in this video. All right, welcome to my channel. My name is Fred. If you're new here, I'd really appreciate if you can hit the subscribe button and also hit the like button of this video. All right, let us start. Now, if you have checked out my previous video, you will discover that I always use the box method, which happens to be the easiest method to project isometric drawings. So the box method, the process or how you should go about that is you're going to have to look for the total height, the length to the right and the length to the left. Then you project the box with it. What I'm talking about is this. You know, when you're drawing an isometric, you have a horizontal line, you have a vertical line, you have a line receded to the right 30 degrees and another one to the left 30 degrees. By the way, this is an old question I found somewhere and I just decided to share with you. All right, so now you're going to look for the total length to the right, or the dimension to the right, total dimension to the left, and the total height. Then you use the whole of that to draw the box that will contain this drawing. Now from this drawing, we could see here that the total height here is 90. So that means this line will be 90. Now let us look at the total length. Remember, we're asked to draw this, making this the bottom, that's the lowest part, A, considering point A as indicated by the arrow as the lowest point of the block. All right, so this is going to be the lowest. So from this point to this point here is what is going to take this receding line here. So what is the dimension? So from here we have 75 plus 24. That's 99, I guess. Okay, 70, 80, 90. That's 99. So this is going to be 99 millimeter. That's 9.9 cm. Then let's find the length to this other side. That would be this length here. So from here we could see that this is 80. So this is 80. So what I want to do is draw a box that is 90 by 99 by 80. So I will do that off recording. And if you want to learn how to do that, go check my previous videos. You will see exactly how to go about that. All right. Okay, so here we have the isometric box. Remember how I got it. The height, the whole of this height you're looking at, 90. This dimension to the right, all of it 99. And this, all of it to the left is 80. All of them, all right? So I'm just going to project this inside. All right, now my focus will be more on this area, although I'm going to show you how I got the other part, but I would want you to focus your attention when I get to this area. Okay, so from here we know the height here, the dimension is 16. So we're going to measure 16. We'll measure 16 here. I hope you can see that very clearly. Take it up. Okay, so this is 16. This is 5. This is 15, and this is 16. So I'm just going to measure. This is 0. So that's it. So I'm going to transfer. Now remember, this box, everything you see here are thin lines, not thick lines. Thin lines. So when you're projecting your box, make sure you use thin lines. All right, so I measure 16 here, so I'm just going to transfer lines from here to where I measured 16 and draw thin, very faint lines. All right, and stop here. Then do the same thing here, transfer lines from here to 16. This point here, and draw faint lines for now. All right, So now I'm going to transfer this line because I will need the back, all right, to project this part. So I'm going to transfer this line here. So align your set square properly and transfer lines to this point here, and draw lines all the way, stop somewhere there. And there are two ways you can go about this. You know, this is already 9.9, so it's either you measure 9.9, you measure 9.9 here, connect it, or just simply transfer this line to this point and connect. I hope that's clear. Thin lines. So align your set square. I'm going to use this method and transfer to this point here and draw thin lines. Good. Now do not confuse this line with the one on the top. Okay, this is for the top, this is for the top, while this one is for the base. Talking about this part here, this level. All right, so let's move on. Now let me start with this side. All right, now you see this is half a circle. All right, something like this. All right, now like I said, go check out previous videos on introduction to isometric. Okay, I laid more emphasis on how to draw isometric circles and I explained in details. However, in order for you to draw a circle in isometric, you know you need a rhombus. All right, a rhombus is an equivalent of a square when viewed perpendicularly. Okay, it's an equivalent of a square. So you need a rhombus to draw an isometric circle, just like you need a square, or you might need a square to draw a circle. All right, you don't actually need a square to draw a circle. You can draw a circle with your pair of compass and all of that. Okay, but you could also draw a circle on a square, using a square. So you need what? A rhombus to draw what? An isometric circle. But in this case, you know we have half a circle. So you see half of the circle is on this part. Now the question is, so how do I draw a rhombus here when I have the circle here? Very simple. What you would do is you're going to project half length of the rhombus inside the drawing and half length of the rhombus outside. You do it for both the top and the bottom. I hope that's clear. So let us proceed. So what you do is you're going to extend this line. So you extend this line with thin lines a little bit, like this. Extend this line a little bit. All right, just follow me. Now I'm going to do same what I did for the top. I'm going to do it for the bottom as well. So I will extend both lines. I will extend this line and I will extend this line. All right, so here we go. Now do not forget, the whole of these, they are thin lines. So I extended this. Take your eyes off this. So in fact, let me erase this one so you don't confuse this line. All right, the base and the top. Now the question is, what is the diameter of the circle? The diameter is 80. All right, that's this exact size here. So that for you to draw a circle of diameter 80, you need a rhombus of what? 80 by 80. So you're going to have to draw a rhombus 80, taking here as the center of the what? Or rather the diameter of the what? The circle. So this is the diameter. So the circle is going to go like this, okay? But all we need is just half of the circle for the top and half for the bottom. But you know part of the circle is not going to show up at the bottom. Don't worry, when we get there you will understand. So if this is the diameter of the circle, that means you're going to take, if the diameter of the circle is 80 and the length of the rhombus has to be 80, so we're going to take 40 to the right, 40 to the left, 40 to the right, 40 to the left. That would be the measurement. The measurement, do you understand? All right, so now this is 40 here at the center. I hope you can see this. So we have 40 at the center, we have 80 here. So I'm going to needle on 80 and I'm going to needle on 0. So from this point to this point is 80. This point here being the what? The middle. So I'll do the same thing here for this top. Now remember, take your eyes off this line. I'm making use of this one for now. So I'm going to place my 4 at the center there. Measure to the left 80, that's 0, and to the right 8, that's 80. Okay, 40 being the center. I hope that's clear. Now do the same. We're going to do the same thing for the bottom, but let me finish the top. Now what you're going to do next is you transfer lines like this. So align your set square with this line here. Transfer lines to where you measured 40. That's this point here, and draw until it touches this other point here, 40. So there's no point even measuring this 40 here, because once you transfer lines to give you same dimension at the end of the day. So transfer to this point here where you measured 80. So that's it. So from here to this point here is 80, and from this point to this point here is 80 for the top. Now we're going to do the same thing for the bottom. How? You place your ruler like this. So you measure. This is my 40 at this point here. See this? 40. I'll measure 80. That's my 80, and this is 0. That gives me 80. I hope that's clear. So I'll do the same thing for the bottom, for this other side. So I'm going to place my 40 here. Okay, and this is my 0, 4, and 8. All right. So I'm going to connect them. It's either you connect them or you transfer lines, but I just love to transfer my lines. So like I also said, you could measure just one side only. Transfer your lines. It will give you the same thing at the end of the day. So this is my 0, this is my 40, and this is my 80. So I'll transfer lines all the way here. Okay, and that's it. So for clarity purpose, I'm going to erase this extension so you see exactly what's going on here. Okay, so here we go. I hope you haven't blinked just yet. Just follow me. All right, now let me focus on the top first. Then I'll do the same thing for the bottom. Now you know how to draw an isometric circle, right? So the first thing you do is you draw the what? The diagonal, the longest diagonal. So this is the rhombus. This is the longest diagonal. This is the shortest. Don't join the shortest. Join the what? The longest. So I'm going to connect this thin lines. I'm still on thin lines to this point here. All right. I'll do the same thing for the bottom. Okay. I hope you haven't taken your eyes off the whole process. Good. Now, I have located the center of this side 80. You know this is also 80. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to locate the center. I only need half of the circle, so I'm not going to bother myself with the other side because I don't need it. I don't need this side. I don't need to draw the circle out. Just the inside only. So I need to locate the half of this 80 and also the half of this 80. So a simple way to do that, just place your ruler. This should give you 80 on the dot. And the center is what? 40. So I need this point here. So note it. And also do the same here for the bottom. This is 80. All right. And the middle here is what? 40 dots. And just rest. So let me zoom in a little bit so you see the next step. All right. So what we're going to do next is we'll start drawing the circle. Now before we do that, we need to get a point. So you can choose either of this point, this corner here, or this corner here. All right. So what do? You connect it to the center where you measured 80. I mean the point 40. What you're actually looking for is a point on this line. So this is how you go about it. So now, please do not confuse this base with the top. Focus on the top. Take your eyes off the base for now. So this is what the corner. So connect it to this point here. All right, but I'm not going to draw the line. If you like, you can draw the line, no problem. But I'm not going to draw the entire line because I don't want this whole thing to be crowded, this whole drawing to be crowded with lines. So I'm just going to focus on this part. All I need is this point here where it cuts this diagonal. I'm supposed to actually draw this line, but I'm not going to draw the whole of the line. I'm just going to draw this part because this is where I need. All right, okay, that's it. Now I'll do the same thing for the bottom here. All right, I'm going to connect this to this half. Now do not make the mistake of joining it to this point here, because this is this other side at the back. So you connect it to this side, this point here, but there's no point drawing the entire line. Just cut this line at that point, and that's enough. Now needle here at this point of intersection here, stretch to this point here. Sorry. Okay, now if it is touching this point, it should, if you have drawn it correctly, it should also touch this point. I hope you can see that. All right, so I'm just going to adjust this properly. So okay, so that's just good. Now draw from this point the half to this other half you measured, you measured here. Do not exceed these midpoints. So draw a thick line like this. All right, I hope that's clear. Now look at this base. We'll do the same thing here, but we are going to be very, very careful. So needle at this point. Remember, if it is touching this point here, it should also touch here. All right, but we are only going to stop at diagonal. We're not going to exceed. Why? Because by the time we are turning, that will be the back, okay, the behind of this drawing. And you know, this is not an it's not a transparent drawing. It's not a transparent object. It's an opaque, okay, object. So we're just going to stop here because we don't need the word hidden details. You don't draw hidden details in isometric except you are told to do so, but actually you shouldn't do that. So you draw lines from here, arc from here, and stop at this diagonal here. Just stop there. Thick line, stop there. All right, now I am going to now needle here, this point here, and stretch to this point half, or this other point here half. Okay, so that's it. Now if it is touching that point, it should also touch this point. You see, so you draw lines from here and stop here. Do not exceed the half. Thick lines or thick arcs like that. You see that? All right, now you do the same thing for the bottom. So you needle here. Remember, once again, don't make the mistake of pointing your pair of compass at this. Don't needle here or this point. It is this point here. You stretch to this point. It should be there already. Now if it is touching that half, it should also touch this half here. So draw the other one with thick arcs like this. Okay, that's it. Now connect this part with thick lines. Connect this point of intersection with the diagonal with this point of intersection with the diagonal with thick lines. So that's it. We move. Now we're done with the most if you like, the most difficult part, okay, because this part is quite technical, but you can see that it is very, very easy. All right, so let's now complete this part. Now there is something wrong with this drawing, okay. This is actually a NECO question, one of the Nigerian examination, okay. Now if looking at this drawing, you can see a hidden detail here, right? What this hidden detail is telling me is that there is what? An opening here, all right, and this opening has a floor, like a leveled ground here. So if that's true, it means there's supposed to be a line here. Okay, so this drawing wasn't complete, so I'm just going to complete the drawing by what? Adding that line. So there's supposed to be a line here. Actually, it was omitted. All right, so this is how it should look. This is the right plan. All right, so how do I know that? It's because of this part here. Okay, now let us draw this part. Now from here, what do we have as a dimension? Now you know the entire thing is 80. Now if you take 50 off 80, you have 30 left. So that means this point here, this part here is 15, and this part is 15. That's 30. Okay, so you measure 15. Measure 15. Place your ruler like this. So this is 1 and this is 1.5. All right. Now here is let me take this as my 0. So this is 1 and this is 1.5. That's 15. So from this point to this point is 15, and from this point to this point is 15. So I am going to draw them thick lines. 15 here and 15 here. I hope that's clear. The next thing I'm going to do is you transfer lines. So align your set square with this line here and transfer lines to this point 15 here. Now draw thin lines for now. Thin lines. Draw thin lines there and draw thin lines here. Okay, I'm going to make them thick later after the measurement. All right, so what is the dimension? What do we have here? This is 20. So I'm going to measure 20. So I don't need to measure on both sides. I can just measure on one and I'll transfer the line. So measure 20 here. So this is 1, 2, 20. Okay. So for clarity purpose, let me just draw it. Thick lines. So that's 20. So what I'm going to do is transfer lines from here. Align your set square very well. Transfer it to where you have 20, where you measured 20. Remember, this is 20. Then I will draw it until it cuts this other line. Thick line at once. Okay, so that's it. Alright, so I'm going to print this part. And that's it. Now, like I said, there is a bottom part here. So let's fix that. Now, this height here, this dimension here is 10. So I'm going to first of all transfer a vertical line to this point here, a thin line. Let me do that again. Okay, so transfer a vertical line here and draw it down, a thin line. Draw it down like this. Okay. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to measure what? 10 on it, because I have it as 10. So you measure 10 on it. That's 1 cm. So that's 10. Okay. Once you're done with that, you can erase the extension. Be careful so you don't, sorry about that. You can erase the extension a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to align my set square with this part and transfer to this point here where I measured 10. Okay, and I'll draw until it touches this part here, because like I said, the object is opaque, you can't see the inside. All right, then I will transfer lines from here. Align your set square like this, transfer to this point here, and draw until it touches this point here. Okay, so that's it. Then print this part. So we're done with this part. All right, so the next thing we're going to do now is let's draw this one, thick lines all the way down. That's thick lines. Now the next thing I'm going to do now is this other part. Very, very easy. Let's fix this other part. We're done with the main part. All right, now do not erase your thin lines, your construction lines. You leave them on the drawing. All right, so now here we have 75. All right, okay, now this is 74, but this length you are seeing is not the true length of this drawing. Why? Because from the plan this is off isometric. Okay, it's not aligned with any of the main isometric axis. Do you understand? Any of the isometric axis. So it's also, that's why you're seeing, so it's not the true length. Okay, so but we are just going to focus on 75. So you measure 75 here. Okay, so this is I have my 75 here. So this is 75. Okay, and this is 0. So I'll dot 0 That's 75. Okay, now I don't need to measure 75 at the bottom. Okay, that's just enough. I'll just transfer lines to get the other part. So let me do that just quickly. So align your set square with a vertical line. Transfer lines to this 75 and draw down thick lines at once. Then connect this part, print it out, and print this one as well. Okay, so let's fix the other part. Now I'm also going to measure. Now I don't need to actually so actually I'm supposed to measure 75 here, but no point doing that. What I'll just do is I will transfer this line, okay, to this point here, to this point here. So this point corresponds with this other side, and I'll just take note of it. So that's it. So from here to this point is already 75. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw from here. Remember, you can't draw inside because the object is opaque. And stop at 75 here. Stop at this point. Okay, so now let's fix this other part here. Now what do you have here? You have here as 30. Now if the entire thing is 80, now remember this is 80 on this side. All right, this is 80. So if I'm taking 30 off 80, I will be left with what? 50, right? So if I'm left with 50, that means from this point, if I were to extend this line and join this, that means this one is 25. If I were to extend this and join this, this is 25. This is 25. So I'm going to measure 25 from here to this point, and measure 25 from here to this point. So I will be left with 30 here. All right, so place your ruler like this. I hope you can see that clearly. All right, so this is 1, 2.5 here, and from here this is 1, 2.5 here. That's it. So I'm going to connect this to this point here. Thick lines. I'm going to connect this to this point here. Thick lines, and you print this part. Thick lines. All right. Now transfer this line. Before you do that, we'll transfer a vertical line here. So align with a vertical line. Okay, and transfer lines here. You draw lines. Transfer lines here. And you draw this line. So you cannot connect this line by drawing a thick line, and you connect this one by drawing a thick line. So this is the drawing, done and dusted. Very, very easy. If you didn't get it the first time, start all over again and follow the steps. You'll get it. So the next thing I'm going to do now is I will dimension the entire drawing. Okay, so this is how you pull off drawings like this, like a boss. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so you just dimension and you're done with it. All right, so please subscribe to this channel if you haven't done that already. I upload amazing videos all the time. Okay, all right, thank you very much. Hit the subscribe button, like the videos, share the videos. I will see you some other time. Do have a nice day.